Hello and welcome to this free webinar, the Introduction Training to a Woman on Purpose. My name is Alexandra Gold and I am a woman on purpose. I'd love to welcome you to this training, and if you know or are familiar with my work and my page of the same name, A Woman on Purpose, on Facebook, you will know that I am a poet as well as an author of the #1 Amazon Kindle book, A Woman on Purpose, which helps women all over the world become spiritually full, financially free, and confidently unstoppable. So to begin this evening, or this afternoon, wherever you are, I'd like to start with a poem that I feel is really appropriate if you are here and are excited about the changing and transition that's happening all over the world with women starting to stand in their own power. I'd like to start with a poem called A Woman on Purpose is Called to Action. And this is for all of you that are feeling that thread of indecisiveness, that you want to do more, that you want to be more, you want to have more, and you want to make the world a better place. You are not alone, and I want you to know that. A woman on purpose is called to action. Your world needs you. Yes, you. There is a stirring in the hearts of women around the world, a feeling that begins as a murmur of discontent, a deep, constant pain that begins in her belly and rises, uncontrollable, unstoppable, until it spills over as teardrops. She tries to fight it. She tries to cover it. She tries to ignore it. She tries to make it better. What can it be, this cord of wanting, felt like an invisible golden thread, sewing its way between the hearts and minds of women across the globe? Is it time, she asks herself? Is it time to rise? Is it time to be more, to have more, to give more? What can I do, she cries out to the universe. I have no more tears. I am spent. Where can I go, she asks the question. There are no boundaries to this country's uprising. There are no passports to evolution. How can I do it? She contemplates her choices. There are so many jobs to do. Where does she start? Am I enough? She pours her fears out to the rivers of eternity. I feel invisible, unheard, unworthy. Please show me how to begin. There is a stirring in the hearts of women around the world. I believe there is something more. I believe that it is time. Time to rise. Time to be more. Time to have more. Time to give all that we have in return. Begin where you are, with all you are. With what you have, there is always a way. Trust that this feeling is within you for a reason. You are not alone. I too have this knowing. It is time. You are being called to action, to lead the way into a new life for all. I too have this feeling. It is time. Time to be full to the brim for ourselves, for our vessel to start overflow. With the love and the kindness inherent we bring to the world that needs you to show them to show. Time to be all that you can for your true self, without losing yourself on the way. Time for invention, time and again, until you have the best of the day. Time to emerge from the depths of despair, to join hands and lead the world to be equal and just, peaceful and most kindly and loving and free. Hear your call to action in your own way, but join up and do recognise that we need one another to really enforce that peace reigns the world eternally. Throw down the gauntlets of limit and lack, pick a shield that is shiny and new, confident beauty to sparkle so bright, to raise up and see this new age through. I hope that resonates with you. I know that for me, when I was putting this together, I had to think about the struggles that we have to deal with in this modern era, the struggles of being unheard and unseen. There's a pain that we all seem to be feeling at the moment. It's inside and we don't think that anybody else can understand it. It's a pain for the world which you feel helpless about when you're watching the TV or the news or the billboards or listening to the radio. There are causes that need your attention, causes that are asking for your help time and again. We all need the financial security to have comfort in order for us to be at home with ourselves. And we all want inner peace and a place of solid foundation from where we can share our gifts in overflow. And I know for many of us, we need our confidence, whether that's gaining confidence to do what we really need to do for the first time, or refinding it, regaining it, reinstilling our confidence so that we can live our best lives and fall in love again. I know that we all have fears of not being enough, not being able to survive or put money on the table, food on the table, a roof over our heads, and just to be able to have all the things that we need on a daily basis. And we have fears of not being able to carry on, of not being worthy, of not being able to do it, whatever that is for you. My name is Alexandra Gold, and I am a woman on purpose. But life hasn't always been golden for me. I grew up in a beautiful family. I've got some photos here to share with you. Yes, I didn't always have golden hair. I had to reinvent myself. This is a picture of my son and my niece at my brother's wedding, and a picture of me and my family in our home in Spain. A lovely picture that I treasure of me and my mum, who is my main inspiration. I'd like you to look away now because I want to share with you a little story that some of you already know and some of you will be unfamiliar with. But I want you to just share with me, if you feel you're able, I want to be able to share my absolute truth with you. And for those of you who don't know my story, about 12 years ago I was diagnosed with a massive brain tumour. Fortunately it was benign and I recovered from that after a few operations, but I was left with disease of the bone. It's called osteomyelitis, and it went on to just deteriorate the bone of my forehead until it was stented, and I was suffering from infection about 8 or 9 times a year. Serious infection. I was constantly on antibiotics for about 8 years, and it was a complete and utter disability to me. Being constantly dizzy, constantly in pain, having my bone eaten away. When eventually I went to have a reconstruction, it was fabulous and it looked beautiful for about 3 weeks. But unfortunately, because it was such a new operation, I got an acquired infection in that reconstruction. So I was left with a hole in my head for 2 years with intravenous antibiotics until the doctors that I was working with were very brave and decided to take out all of the reconstruction. But the period of 2 years in between, I literally had a hole in my head that grew and grew. And I have a picture to show you exactly how bad that got. I would ask you to look away now if you're squeamish, but if you are brave enough just to see exactly what it was, I will show you quickly now. And then I'm going to go on to the next picture, which was the recovery, which isn't pretty, but it's not as bad as the last one. So I'll move this picture on and I'll show you. The picture on the left is where I had the deterioration of the bone from osteomyelitis for 7 years. And the pictures on the right are after the reconstruction, but before the removal of the reconstructive tissue, bone and titanium. I literally had bone disintegrating. The hole that you see was a through and through hole, and I had to clear it out with water that came through the hole and through my nose and into my mouth. I'll move quickly on because they're not pretty. These next pictures are after the surgeons decided to take the reconstruction out, and I had to have a really good vein from my leg taken, and the muscle that you see in the lump there is from my leg, and the skin that you see where the hole was is actually my leg skin, and I still have leg hairs on there which I keep for prosperity. But this was a fabulous operation. I had the lump actually liposuctioned so that I don't have such a large hideous lump on my head anymore. I'm going to move on because they aren't very pretty, but I just wanted you to realise the extent of my struggles, and they weren't all of the struggles that I had. I was also, when I was diagnosed with the tumour, I'd been diagnosed with postnatal depression because the doctors didn't actually believe me when I had a lump on my head. I was homeless. I had recently left a really good job where I managed a music studio, but because I left it 2 weeks before I had my baby, I had to pay most of my tax money, even on my maternity pay. So I was left without a home. I did try to establish myself in the country with my then in-laws, but it didn't work out, and I ended up in a homeless shelter in temporary accommodation in central London, with sharing the room with cockroaches. By the time I had the tumour and it was diagnosed, I had been rehomed, and I had a 2-bedroom flat where my parents lived with me and my then just over a year-old son. They gave up their life in South Africa to be with me and to help me through, because they knew that I would need help in the years to come. So I'm incredibly grateful for all that they did for me. But I lived in a tiny 2-bedroom flat where we shared residence with the mice population of southeast London. So I've been at the bottom of life. I also went through a procedure a legal procedure where I actually did win a huge sum of money, and I did decide to use this to share my knowledge with the world. So I've had both sides of the coin. I've had incredibly poor life and incredibly full of plenty, or enough, should we say, enough money. But during that time I'd let go of me. And what really made me realise that I had to start again was when I was in this 2-bedroom flat with my son watching Thomas the Tank Engine, which is a cartoon of a little train. And he said one day, "I want to be a useful engine," he said. And I knew just then that I needed to be useful. And when I sat in the hospital after I'd said goodbye to my parents and I'd made a decision that if I did pull through, I would do everything I could to make the world a better place. But it did take a long time. It did take 8 years. It did take a lot of ups and downs. It did take becoming unseen, unheard, going through those struggles again and again, not feeling enough, not feeling worthy, not feeling able within myself physically or mentally being able to cope. So I understand all of those fears, and I realized that I would have to face them. At the time I thought I was facing them on my own, but I've since discovered through working with women that it wasn't just me. And we all face the same fears. We face the fears of getting real. We face the fear of letting go of all those struggles that we have. And we have to rediscover our gifts, the gifts that we're given, and we need to use the tools that we're given as well. I had to really get to grips with getting in tune with myself again. And it took a long time, about 8 or 9 years, before I managed to get into working with my ebbs and flows of life and integrating everything that I knew into my purpose and becoming the woman on purpose that I am today. And what I realized is that we are so very, very needed. And we need to live our best life. We need to live our best life for ourselves. And we need to live our best lives for other people. Never before has the world needed us as much as it does now. And we all have a good message to share. But in order to be heard, we must speak. And in order to be seen, we must go forth. In order to make a change in the world, and a change in our lives, we must be brave enough to act. I realised, as I know that many women do now, that the risk of doing nothing is just too much to bear. I can't and couldn't bear the thought of staying stuck in any of the situations. I don't want to be always in lack. Always live with the fear of something. Whether you've got a lot of money or nothing, you have a fear and you stay stuck in that fear. Whether it's a financial need or whether it's just a need to be confident enough to say what you mean and to be heard, to get your message out, your story, your gifts. We lead to actually action these things, because the risk of doing nothing will lead you to have regrets. And we miss out on living our best life. We lose out and miss out on getting our dreams. And I really believe now that we can have our best life wherever we are. We can start where we are, use what we have, and create the best life possible. I believe if we don't find a purpose, something to fill that gap, we always have that feeling that something is missing and we should do more. One thing that I did discover on my journey, and the thing that I want to share with you, is that we do have infinite possibilities. We have personal infinite possibilities and global infinite possibilities. The personal infinite possibilities are happiness, freedom, confidence, prosperity, and peace. And we all need those. We all need those to feel full, to live our lives, and just to be comfortable, to live in a daily rhythm that goes with nature. And it is natural. I can show you how natural that is. And I want to give you just something to give you a little bit of a boost right now. And I want to share with you that there is always a way. There is always a way to get what you want, to get that infinite feeling that you're gaining momentum. When you reach your ebb and flow, life seems to just throw things in your way. And I believe that if you're here today, that this is serendipitous to your life. Because I know that things have been thrown in my path when I absolutely need them. It's so marvelous and miraculous and magical. I don't know all the answers. I can just show you and share with you that it is possible if you trust, if you surrender, if you learn to open your eyes to the infinite possibilities. When you learn to expand your joy, when you learn to expand your awareness, and you take away non-judgment, little by little, working on yourself, practice by practice, day by day. If you can chuck out the negative thoughts and bring in the positive ones, you'll be gaining momentum. Make sure that you take note of those things that are serendipitous, that are thrown in your way. And as I like to say, the universe is smacking me into observation. Because if I don't take notice, they seem to be thrown in my path again and again and again until I do. There have been times when I've not been in flow and I miss out on those opportunities. But the opportunities for you, I believe, are endless. It doesn't matter whether you're creative, whether you're a business person, whether you're a stay-at-home mum, whether you're retired, whether you're happy in your career. I believe that all of us are here for a reason. I believe that there is a general feeling between the women of the world at the moment that is just so powerful. And if we at first become happy within ourselves, become really content, become more confident, more powerful, in a peaceful, kindly, compassionate way, then our love will just overpour. And then we can only lead to global infinite possibilities. When we're peaceful within ourselves, when we're centered within ourselves, when we're grounded, when we feel comfortable, when we have a solid foundation, we can all contribute to the global infinite possibilities. Just like there's organised crime, organised hatred, I believe that we can, if we are independent, strong women who are kind and compassionate, we can lend our voice united against all of the oppression that we're feeling in the world. And I know that there are lots of different movements that are trying to fill either your desire for a better life for yourself, or they're working on a charitable cause. And I believe that we need it all. As women on purpose, we want it all. I'm a bit of a greedy girl when it comes to that. I want to live a better life, but I don't want to do it with a world going on around me that is in lack itself. I want to contribute to that. I want for us to all join together to create the infinite possibilities that us independently rising women who are happy, who have exactly what we want, who live in the moment, but we're making the world a better place day by day by day. We can contribute to less violence in the world by uniting with our umbrella of love. Doesn't matter where we come from, we can all contribute in that goodness. I believe that we can create less hunger in the world. We all know what's right. We all innately just seem to know what's right, but we need to open ourselves up. We need to be at peace with ourselves first and happy and comfortable. I believe that we can contribute to less death from disease or conflict if we are able to support ourselves and our family and financially independent enough to say, hey, stop, or hey, I can help. By leading the world in a more peaceful, compassionate way, we can create more understanding, more communication, more compatibility. And throughout that, we can show the world that it is abundant, that there is enough for everyone without the conflict. But we do need to work together for this. We do need to work unitedly. But I'm not one for wanting to do this on my own. What I've created is an understanding of what I need, that I will always be in today, when every morning that I'm blessed to wake up, to breathe in the new air. I am eternally grateful for that. I do live for today with the hope of tomorrow. I do want to contribute to a better world, and I do want to leave a legacy. I believe for that we need to write our own best life. We need to create the stories that we want to tell. We want to be able to share them with our grandchildren. We want to be able to share them with the world. And in order to do that, we must be able to be happy, independent, spiritual, if we believe in that, but full, confident women. What a woman on purpose wants, and I believe that we all want the same thing, as we want to stop the pain, both within ourselves, from feeling inadequate, unable to help for all the causes that need our help, but unable to support ourselves in whether that is within ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. We need to find a balance there. And we want to stop that pain that seems to be infecting us all around the world. We want to heal the wounds of our own past, our memories. We need to actually discover new ways to deal with past tragedies, traumas. And most of us, I truly believe that most of us want to make the world a better place. To ensure that all people are equal, really equal. And for us all to love life and live without shame, pain, or doubt. What I thought about over those 8 years, and I was given the very precious gift of time, was how do we get what we want? How do we get what we want? Independently, for ourselves and for the world. I know what I want, and funnily enough, I've always got what I want through manifestation, action, 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 remanifestation. And yes, it changes all the time. And I have been independent most of my life. But when I needed money, I got money. When I needed a job, I got a job. They've all been very serendipitous because I've been open to them. But what I realise now is that a woman on purpose needs to gain her independence in order to lift up everybody else around her. I know that within ourselves, if we can all work on ourselves, if we can work on non-judgment, if we can work with confidence and be able to lead peacefully, there is no stopping what we can do for ourselves in our own lives and for the world. And I believe it is time. But in order to do that, we must gain our confidence. A woman on purpose shares her gifts with the world. She doesn't keep them locked up. I don't know whether you've been stuck in a place where you're not quite able to press that button or to make that call or to share those gifts. But it is time, because we can work from a place of beauty and we can show others that they can work from a place of beauty instead of a place of greed and oppression. If we all have a place that we're where we can share our love from, whether that's a home, whether that's a mansion, or just enough to get you by. If we can do that with our inner peace instilled, with our confidence there, and with non-judgment and peaceful leadership, imagine when we unite in voice how much peace, power and prosperity we can bring to the world. What we need to do, though, is fill our cups to the brim. In order to share our gifts with the world, we need to be full. I don't know whether you feel there is one area of your life that's lacking, but if there's just even something, it doesn't matter how much money or how much confidence, how much power, influence you have, if you're lacking in purpose, if you're lacking in some area of your life, it's really hard to overflow from a place of love. So, in order to fill your cup to the brim, I believe that we all need to become spiritually full in whatever capacity that is. Whatever capacity, whether that's a belief or a non-belief, it doesn't really matter. As long as we can work together and not be judgmental, not hold opinions, get rid of our anger, get rid of that injustice that we all have, that we're doing something maybe a little bit better or a little bit worse, because we're all worthy. I believe that every woman on purpose should be financially free enough to support either herself, her family, maybe her partner, because the more independent we are and financially able, and we do live in a monetary world, it is a tool. It's what we use nowadays. It's not something else. I don't want to live in a world that doesn't exist yet. It would be lovely if it did, but at the moment we live in a monetary world, and therefore we have to contribute financially and we need to earn financially in order to support those people that we love. Is it not better to have enough and more, and then be able to contribute and give from a place of overflow? And even if you do have all the money in the world, we need to be confidently unstoppable in order to voice our love, our leadership, our peace together. I don't think it's going to be a very easy road, but what I can do with the Woman on Purpose course is share with you a few secrets to help you fill those gaps. Whether you are in the process of becoming calmer yourself, whether you need to work on an area of your life and want to help contribute back to the world, I can give you that purpose, because I know I come from a place of knowing that lack, that need to fill, the need to do good, but the need to contribute and to need to come from a place of overflow. We're all worthy. I believe that. But we all need to have the confidence to share that with the world. So, as an overview of the Woman on Purpose course foundation, I want you to see your peaceful, powerful potential. I want you to see that at whatever stage, at whatever age you are at. I want you to have a solid foundation and start creating your best life. I want you to be able to see your self-worth, because you are enough. And I want you to be able to see the infinite possibilities. When I created A Woman on Purpose, it was pure synchronicity. I didn't know that I was going to speak to women. I first created the signature system, and it's called a Golden Compass. And I got that serendipitously too. Serendipitously. Within there are 6 directions and 2 infinite principles. And they can work with anybody. It doesn't have to be women. But when I started to write the book, I was writing to women. This is very strange for me. And I really want you to know that, because at the time I didn't realise, when I actually came up with the business module and the Golden Compass decision, it was for everybody. But when I started to write the book, I was writing it to women, because I believe that we can be the start of a new paradigm, a new way of living. But in order to do that, we must step up. And in order to step up, we need solid foundations. And the 6 directions that I've come up with, which I based around what we need, both spiritually and practically, based on ancient text, old philosophy and religions and ancient traditions, stories, commandments, teachings, all of them seem to have a general flow. The 6 directions that I have are really important to us to have a full life. We need to balance life. And for that, I want to share with you a secret. I use the 80-20 principle, but I split it down even more. Because 80% of the time, I try my best. 10% of the time, I mess up in public. But 10% I still mess up within myself. And I keep that private. Life happens all by itself. I don't try to say that it doesn't. So I try my best 80% of the time. And life happens all by itself. So if you're trying your best, the bad stuff will crop up, but you will have enough of the good stuff to be able to get through it. I believe that we all need love and relationships that work healthily, that work from a place of communication, understanding. And I'm not perfect at this. I really am not. I never want you to think that I'm perfect, because I have millions of vices. I choose to be good 80% of the time. And it actually does work. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. Or it does work all the time. It seems to work for me most of the time. But on that note, I do work hard. And work and wealth is one thing that I believe that we all need. And I'm not going to be ashamed to say it. I do work hard when I work hard. And I can go into hermit mode. And other things do suffer. I'm not perfect. But I do work hard at creating. I create my gifts to share. And then I let my hair down and I share them, which is such a beautiful place to be. And I'm always on purpose, so I'm always being propelled in the right direction and always given the answers that I need. And I want to share that with you. Law and community, it seems a very strange thing to have in here, but most of us, over the course of our lives, are going to actually want to contribute. And our work and wealth, if we can actually intertwine that with our law and community, so our giving back, our contribution is working within our community, whatever that might be. It is a natural part of life. Most importantly is our health and well-being. Having had such a horrendous time with my health, I understand that and I do appreciate it. I'm not brilliant at it, but I do try my best. But I don't think it's just a physical well-being. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's financial. We need to keep everything in balance and everything healthy. And yes, we will have times of turmoil. But as long as we're trying our best, it gives you the freedom to relax and to trust and to feel free. The last of the 6 directions are ensuring that you have either a spiritual practice or a personal philosophy. And I say personal philosophy because not everybody believes that there is spirit around us. I don't like holding negative intentions and anger when it comes to words. So I try to use and include all the words that won't anger people, but I do know that they do. And another thing that I really want to stress, and it's really important and a very good thing to learn, is that if you hold the intention that somebody has said something with goodness, or in the intention that they meant, in good intention, in a good light, then you're not absorbing the anger. We all have words that we perhaps don't use anymore, but if we see them in the light intended, we don't have to hold the anger that we now associate with them. And we do associate a lot of anger with words, with opinions, with decisions that we're told we should, would, could make. We hold a lot of anger. And what I like to think is that we can dissipate that. Our world needs us so much now. So much. I actually can't believe it, and I'm sure you can't either. The two infinite principles. These are really simple, but so true. And I had to bring them in. The infinite principle of self just means all that we know and all that we can control. And the infinite principle of the unknown, or as I like to call it, infinite possibilities, is all that we do not know and we can't control. So there are so many things that we used to know, or we used to not know, and now we know are true. And I believe that if we can balance those out, the infinite possibilities are unbelievable. And in order to get that, another teaching I can share with you today is that it's okay to not know. If you accept the unknown, if you accept the fact that life is perfectly imperfect and that spirit and science both have a place in our lives, in the world, it makes those aha moments and those moments just almost palpable. You can almost taste them. If you can accept those two principles, that you can take responsibility for yourself and all that you know and all that you can control, and keep gathering the knowledge, keep observing, keep expanding your joy, expanding your awareness. And then you know you're doing your best and you're taking responsibility for yourself. That's the best you can do. And on the other hand, if you can accept that there's things that you just won't know, we probably won't ever know in our lifetimes, and people have in the past thought they knew but got wrong. That's okay. It gives you so much freedom to live within those realms. And it frees you just a little bit more to get a little bit more knowledge, to let go. And letting go is so important. For the foundation course, I cover 12 modules, and I'd just like to share with you what they are and a few teachings in between, because even if you do not choose to come on this journey with me, I still want to give you a little bit of understanding into a Woman on Purpose's way of thinking, because it has taken many years and it's taken a lot of insight, a lot of referencing, a lot of unsureness, a lot of indecision, and then complete acceptance that this is really probably based on what the elders knew, what our earth knows, what science knows, what spirit knows. It is all very simple. And I cover within the foundation training quite a bit. It's quite an intensive course, really. In Module 1, I introduced the new paradigm of feminine leadership. And this is just to get you used to realising that you are enough, your world needs you, because just have a look at around and you'll see why. And that you can take a role as a feminine leader in whatever capacity that is to you, whether that's in the home, in business, in your career. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at what stage or what age of life you are going to lead, whether that's a family or a community at some stage in your life. Module 2, I cover the Golden Compass, which is the 6 directions in the 2 infinite principles, because they're really important. And once you get an awareness of what you need, you can see where you're out of balance. So I would ask you just keep an awareness. And if you want to download the Golden Compass, it's free on the awomanonpurpose.tv membership site. It just reminds you of those areas so that you can feel in and intuitively know what part of that you want to look at. The Balance and Act and Solid Foundation, I just seem to expand on what I've just told you, those principles of 80-20, or as I like to call it, 80-10-10. And in Module 4, I really get stuck into getting into reality. And all that means is deciding, well, realising where you are, and then figuring out where you want to be and making a beeline for it, enjoying every step of the way, enjoying every step as a masterpiece, and starting to create them artistically so that they're with your own beauty. In the Module 5 of Letting Go, what I will teach you there, and I can give you a little bit of information about, is letting go of all of your fear, all of your lack of confidence, all of those bad memories, all of those opinions that we've decided to assimilate into our lives that aren't really ours, because that really helps with getting into reality and getting our true desires. In Module 6, I talk about the gifts of life and their hope and belief and love and trust. They're also important to us all. The tools of life are education, skills, talent, and I do put time in there. Although for me it was a pure gift, but not many of us do get the gift of time to think. And that's a really good thing to know, is if you can manage your time, it's so much easier to crack on with getting things done. It's always good to be in action, always. Module 8, I cover the 6 senses because I believe they're all there. If I was a man in charge of a corporation, you wouldn't think twice of me saying, I felt it in my gut. So I include my intuition. I don't understand it all, but we all know it's there, and I trust it. I've learned to lean in, to trust, to surrender to that, and really listen, to hone in a little bit more. In the ebb and flow, we learn to embrace life a little bit better. We learn to get into our own rhythm, sort of taking a step back and looking at how we want our everyday to run. Running now to the best of its ability, running in the future to where we want it to get to be, but always taking in all of those serendipitous things and finding out where they fit in, and not thinking about things negatively, thinking about the positive so that we just keep on with our momentum. In Module 10, I talk about the directions and integrating life, because we need to integrate our life with our career or our business or the things that we have to do, whether it's an illness that we have to take charge of or anything. We have to integrate our life and find a rhythm that suits us so that we can come from a place of beauty. And the infinite principles are so important. We have to go through those again. We have to actually realise our self-confidence and our self-responsibility is so in our control, and it's not scary anymore. And also the accepting of the unknown is so much greater than we can ever have hoped for. After that, I just round up and review, and we reaffirm everything that we've been taught on the course. And I will definitely include a bonus week of questions and answers and celebrating. One thing I would like to tell you and warn you about is that you have to do the inner work. Whether you choose to join me or not, you have to do these things to make sure that you're living a life on purpose. It's really imperative. I haven't just come up with these ideas. They are what everybody has written about throughout thousands and thousands of years. I try not to use any influence, but I have referenced them. Whether it's psychology or whether it's ancient texts and ancient guidance, you will have to do the work in order to get to that place of inner calm that we all want to attain. And inner calm doesn't mean that you don't have wobbly moments. You will. I'm not going to promise that they go away. But you can get to the point where you know that they're only temporary. You know that you'll get over them. And the more practices that you learn, and the more that you learn to know what you like, what you love, what your place of beauty is, how long these times of wobbly last, you know that they're only temporary, and most of them you can learn to get over very quickly because you've learnt to control them. That's a fabulous place to be. I can honestly say that. I have some details of the course now, if you don't mind me sharing them with you. I'm looking at beginning this next week in October. Modules will be released weekly, and there will be between 3 and 6 lessons usually per module. You can work in your own time. There are downloadable audios and videos if you want to work that way, and there's a notebook and presentation videos just like this one. I wouldn't suggest that you download them and print them out because they would cost a fortune, but you can download them to read if you're taking public transport, or can integrate them into your day, or you can just listen to the downloadable audio. You can get some worksheets as well. You can download those as they're released, and they will just keep gathering so that you'll have all of your stories, and they will be your stories. That's a beautiful thing, is they'll be your stories. So whether you decide to use this to share your story afterwards, they will be excavating your story, not mine. And if you decide that you want to teach this, they will give you your stories to go with the teaching, which is the beautiful flow of how this course is designed. Sometimes I get so excited about it because everything seems to flow. And if you see the picture here, I even found out that when there's golden mean time golden mean and golden ratio, it's called different things, but it's essentially nature's way of growing and nature's way of expanding. And you'll see the same mathematical theory over and over again in nature. And I only found this out when I was doing this, putting this course together. By chance, it happened at exactly the right time for me to show you how to make your own reality and make it beautiful for you, so that every day you're living right in the center. If you look at the center of that shell there, you'll always be at the center, and you'll always be working towards the outside. Isn't that beautiful? I was so excited when I found out about that, and the fact that it's gold, it was just amazing. I'll also have fortnightly calls or webinars. I'm hoping to get webinars sorted out, but bear with me because I'm still working on the technology. And you'll have bonuses whether you decide to take this for personal reflection or as a teacher training. There is the bonuses for both are, that I will include a full colour copy, the original version that I worked on in order to work from a place of beauty myself, of A Woman on Purpose, which is still, I'm very grateful, #1 Kindle bestseller for women's spirituality in the UK. I'm so unbelievably grateful for that and amazed. And you'll also get a Facebook group, Your Circle of Safety, with direct access to me. I will come in there once or twice a week and answer your questions. And you'll also be able to access the teacher training. And each if you decide to go on this route, the teacher training route, it will enable you, as you're getting your personal reflection, your stories together, your confidence, your spiritual path, or philosophy, whatever you want to call it, as you're working on this, you'll be learning to deliver this to others. And at the end of this first training, I will put something together for you so that you have the ability to do workshops or online training. And I have no attachment for you as to whether you brand this yourself, just that you acknowledge that it is the Golden Compass that you're teaching. And I don't mind if you choose to deliver this to women, to men, to children, or to youths. That will be yours. That will be your holding, but it'll give you the basis because I've done the hard work for you. What I will say though is there will be an additional charge. There are two different packages for these two different tracks, and the first one is a personal package, and the bonuses that you'll get for them is one personal poem, and I'll reply to a question. If you've got a specific question that you'd like me to write, I'm happy to write a poem to you. I will retain the copyright though, because every question asked needs to be answered, and I don't want to hold the answer, and that will be for everybody. But I will reply to your question, and that can be anonymous, or you can let everybody know. It's entirely up to you. And if, as I just mentioned, you'll have your Facebook group and the access to the group call with any Q&A that we have every couple of weeks, and any extra training that you need to have. And I will set that up with timescales as soon as I know the geography of main members and I know the time zones. In the teacher's training package, if you do decide to be a teacher, and I'm so looking for a core group of women that will be able to help me take this work into the world, for the initial journey, I cannot do this all by myself. I've put it all together. It's taken me umpteen years. It's taken me hermit status time and time again, and I really need to get back into flow of working, and I want to work with other people. I want to be with you. So if you do feel that this resonates with you, please give it great consideration, because even if you don't feel quite ready, I will help you with it. I'll hold your hand. I will help you as much as I possibly can. And for this, I'm going to give you 3 personal emails, so the beginning, middle and end. And what we'll do there is any questions that you have, we'll go through a survey of that you can fill in so that you know exactly what you want from this, and I know exactly what you need. And then at the middle, we'll just reassess that, make sure that we're on track. If there's anything that we've left out, we'll make sure that we've put it in. And at the end, hopefully we can wrap this up with any loose ends. We can put it all together so that you can fully take this out into the world. I'll also give you a 60-minute personal call with me to discuss anything you want to. There'll be 3 extra teacher training modules, more if we need them, and I will give you a full teacher training manual. I will, for this one, include your first year's license as well, which is going to be a recurring payment of $297 US per annum. But for this first initial group of core teachers, I want you on board. I want you to know that I also will need this to ensure that we've got something really solid so that we can take this out in whatever way we need to personally. So I'll have done the hard work. You just need to take this out into the world. And we'll have a specific group for teachers on Facebook, and we will have monthly teachers call just to check in, make sure that if we can share any ideas or we have any problems that we need to talk about, we can talk about them together. And for the duration of this training, I will give you access. We'll have the group call together every other week, and this will be recorded and sent out, because there will be extra bits and pieces so you can go about it if it's not in your time zone. And then eventually, when we've come to the end of the teacher training, you will get your own link to a Woman on Purpose teacher page with your personal profile, whether you want that to be just the Woman on Purpose teacher training or your own branding. That will be on our Woman on Purpose teacher training page. I know you're asking about the price, and so I won't quibble about it any more longer, but I do want to say this is a one-time offer for the first intake of students. I cannot afford to do it any lower than this, and it will have to go up in the future. To be honest with you, this won't even cover any of my costs, let alone my time. And I just want to get this work out into the world so that we can start working. I can help you, which makes me feel better, and then we can start contributing together. I believe that at the time of plenty, I used that money that I had to ensure that I had something that I can give back to the world, because that was my promise to make the world a better place. So this price reflects that. So the personal reflection one, it's only $397. That's the in full pay, price, or $147 if you decide to pay per month in 3 installments. And the teacher training is just phenomenal, because I will give you the license to use all of this in whichever way you want to, whether it's as is or with your own branding. And that's $797 if you decide to pay in full, or $297 US per month in 3 installments. I hope that you can see that that's absolutely incredible value. I hope you can see the work that I've put into this. Every video that you will get will be like this, and it's taken me a long time to get to here. But I know that I've covered all the areas that everybody needs to live a full, spiritually full, financially free, and confidently unstoppable life. I know that I've covered all those areas. So I'm just going to recap on what a Woman on Purpose is. A Woman on Purpose is 3 stages. This is the foundation stage. The foundation stage where we all get comfortable, we get confident, and we get ready to share our gifts with the world. And then we start doing so, creating an income, creating our solid foundations that we can just propel ourselves from. And it's for women feeling that transition at any age. It doesn't matter what age. If you're feeling that transitional pain, that discomfort, there's something missing, then this is for you. This foundation course is 12 modules long, so it will go to just after Christmas with the extra Q&A and celebration. It is available for license for those who want to complete the teacher training. The Golden Compass is not only for life though, it is for the business. And as we move forward, if you choose to work with me, I can share with you all of the business parts that we have. And you can apply to be a part of the global program just for yourself, or to become a teacher. And that's to create an income for yourself using the system, or to integrate with your existing business. And there's one thing that I forgot to say. I forgot to tell you of the extra special bonus that I give if you decide to be a teacher trainer on this session. Because I've been asked so many times about how I've grown my Facebook page, I have decided to do an extra training, which I will sell separately, for and on creating a Facebook page, and let you know all my secrets. You can see behind the scenes. I've got nothing to hide. I will share with you all of my best practices so that you too can create the following that you need to share your message and to get your word out into the world. So that's an incredible bonus, because if you look back over my Facebook page, what I've managed to do over the past 7 months is phenomenal, even for me to take in. I think we're over 23,000 Facebook fans now. And from that, I've created a very, very huge niche list of exactly the type of women who are interested. And I will share with you all of those secrets and help you to, when you're defining your niche, to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And just to recap what we will cover, we've got the 12 weeks, videos with slides just like this one that I've made it all pretty. We've got workbooks, Q&A calls, and if you choose to, I'd love to have you on the teacher training. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you choose to join us, I'll be so very happy to welcome you. If this isn't for you right now, I hope that you've got great benefit from this webinar all by itself, because I know that we're all feeling that indecision, and at whatever stage you are in, those points that I've given you, just about getting into flow, about letting go, about facing your fear, and the fact that you are enough, are some of the major things that we all need to work on, and they need to be addressed, whether you address them through a Woman on Purpose Foundation or by yourself. I'd like to leave you with one last poem, if I may. I'd like to leave you and say, please join us. I'd love you to become a woman on purpose. I'd love, at whatever stage you are, whether that's personal reflection, I'd like to invite you to really go deep and fill in all those gaps. Take away that fear. I'd like to help you in whatever way I can. And I'd like you, if you're feeling at all resonant with becoming a teacher, if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to ask me and Alex at awomanonpurpose.tv. I'm happy to have a call with you, discuss this, but remember that we start next Sunday, which is, I think it's about the 11th of October. I'm not quite sure now, but it's very shortly. I'm only opening this for a very limited amount of time because I want to work completely in time with this core group of teachers that I'm gathering, so that we can go out and share our gifts. I can share mine with you, and you can share your gifts with the world. So the poem that I'd like to leave you with, regardless of where you are, is that you are enough. She is enough. A woman on purpose is enough. She always was enough. She always will be. She sometimes finds it hard to find. She sometimes finds it hard to feel. She sometimes feels unworthy, broken, or shamed. She always knows that deep inside, her soul has always been enough to get back on her feet, enough to start again. She knows today is yet again a gift unwritten, pure. As the day she came into this world, enough to start for sure. Sometimes she will make mistakes, feel unheard or alone, her self-worth feeling not quite up to the task to which she was born. Enough a woman she always was, enough she'll always be, to start anew, begin again, keeping on the game. Of life that she is playing, her sisters feel it too. Holding hands they will unite, enough to win the game. For they have duties here on earth, to love, to lead, to serve, those less fortunate than her, those that have more pain. She is enough, she cries out loud, to all and to herself, for she has secrets to be told, and gifts to give the world. You are enough. Right now, you can start from here. You don't have to be better than you are to begin. You will make mistakes. You will have to give yourself permission. But you are perfect, just as you are. The world needs your gifts. It's time for you to become a woman on purpose. Please join me. Register now on awomanonpurpose.tv/foundation. I'd love for you to join us. Take care. Be gold.